Greetings all and welcome to Spooky or Nah. Now, we've probably all had some scary experience with it, whether it's running up the stairs as fast as we can so nothing grabs at our legs, or jumping into bed super fast so nothing nips at our feet. Maybe it's just sitting there, being absolutely terrified, not being able to see or know where anything is, know where you're going. Yes, I'm talking about the dark, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Or rather, why we're afraid of it. So, without further ado, let's get into it. You could argue that the fear of the dark, or our fear of the dark rather, as human beings, dates back a very long time. We are intrinsically scared of it, and I think that's for a reason. Now, back in the day when humans started being humans and we started to socialize and we started to become us, even though we had developed fire and the means of seeing limited ways in the dark, we still had trouble, because obviously there was the fear of being attacked by nocturnal predators. Now, humans haven't always been top of the food chain. We were very vulnerable at stages in our existence. We haven't always had it easy. Now, most scientists believe that our fear of the dark comes from this, our fear of being attacked in the night, our fear of nocturnal predators, because the dark is simply scary. It is really scary, and whether you are afraid of the dark, whether you do run up the stairs or jump into bed, or you've set the world record from flicking off the light switch to getting into bed the quickest, whether or not that's how you fear the dark, we're all deep down somewhat scared of it. Think about it. You can't see, you can't know where you're going, see where you're going. All of your other senses are heightened because your sight is taken away. Now, a lot of people that believe in the supernatural and the paranormal might argue that being in the dark is a prime time for ghosts. As I said, you can't see where you go, you can't see anything. Every bump, every sound is going to be pretty spooky. Same goes for monsters under the bed. You can't see them, you can't hear them, and when it's dark, all you want to do is jump into your bed and hide under the covers and make sure that your feet aren't hanging over the end of the bed. I remember when I was a kid, I was exactly the same, and there's nothing irrational in that. As I said earlier, it's intrinsic. It is innate for us to be scared of the dark and to be scared of those things, because scientists believe that it's coded in our brain to be scared of the dark, to try and keep us alive. Being scared of the dark is just another feature of being a human being. So there's nothing irrational, there is nothing wrong with fearing the dark. I also still do get scared of the dark sometimes, depending on where I am and what's happening, because we're meant to be scared of the dark, to keep us alive. As for the paranormal side of things, I really think it mixes in with the natural version of being scared of the dark. Because if you think about it, just like human beings of old were afraid of nocturnal predators and being hunted in the night, we're now afraid of other things as modern humans, generally just being afraid of the dark rather than what's in it. Human beings are social. We want to speak to other people, we want to be with other people, in groups, with family, with friends. But when we're alone in the dark, that makes it even worse, because one, we're alone and we feel alone, and two, we're in the dark. We have no guiding light, we have no one to help us, no one to talk to. From my personal experiences, at least, is that when you're with somebody else in the dark doesn't seem so scary. Now, if there is scientific truth to that, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, I don't pretend to be, but I do personally believe from my experiences that there probably is some substance to the theory that being alone in the dark is worse than being with somebody else in the dark, because you feel comforted, you feel safe, and although you can't see, you know you're with somebody, and you feel a lot safer. Just naturally. I remember when I was a kid, when I was a boy, and I was afraid of the dark. Even now sometimes when I'm downstairs getting a drink at night and I've got to turn the light on, because not only sure I can't see where the tap is, but there's something inside me that goes, no, you need the light on because the dark is not a good place. But when I think about it, it's not the dark itself that I fear. It's not the absence of light. It's what's in the dark that I'm afraid of. Now, yes, you can attribute this back to earlier human beings when we were just getting back on our feet, and the theory that this is where our fear of the dark first originated because of nocturnal predators. The whole idea of not fearing the dark itself, but what's in the dark, can be linked to fearing things that could potentially kill and eat us while we're sleeping, which is not a fun time for anybody. And that's one realization that helped me get over my fear of the dark. I took a step back and I thought to myself, is it the dark, the absence of light, that I am really fearing? Is that what I fear? Is that what I am actually afraid of? Or is it what could happen in the dark? What's in the dark? That I could get hurt in the dark? Is that what I'm worried about? And I found out that's what it was. So when I'd have my moments where I would be jumping into bed so the monsters couldn't get my feet, where I'd be running up the stairs, where I'd be turning lights on during the night because I was too afraid of the dark and I was scared that something was going to get me, I had to sit back and I had to think rationally. And I know that's hard, trust me from first-hand experience, I know that's hard to do. And it took me a long time to get over it and to be able to use those tools I developed myself to help myself get over the fear of the dark. But I would sit back and I would think, I'm not afraid of the dark, I am afraid of what's in it. What is in the dark? What is here right now? There's a coffee table, there's some chairs. Realistically, nothing is going to get me. Realistically, nothing is here. Because I remember I used to think about something behind me. I used to think about reflections. I used to think that somebody was standing over my shoulders or that there was a burglar in the pantry. But as I got older, and as I used those coping mechanisms, as I talked to myself more about my fear of the dark, to me personally it became more irrational that something was going to get me in the dark because I was safe in my home. But it's not the same case for everybody, and I know that the fear of darkness can be crippling. It can cause anxiety. It can really have a negative impact on your life. And I know that. I've experienced it. The bottom line is that people are afraid of the dark. Whether you believe that is for a reason, or whether you believe that it is not, is irrelevant, because people are afraid of the dark. So, if you are afraid of the dark, find comfort in the fact that there's probably a very likely chance that it's natural, it's intrinsic, and that we've always been afraid of the dark for one reason or another. The fear of the dark is something I've long been curious about. I've talked to my family and friends about it numerous times, about their fears of the dark and why they fear the dark, and I really wanted to make this video to just talk about it and hear what you guys have to say as well. Maybe your stories, maybe why you fear the dark. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. It was a little bit different, I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel and you want to see more content like this, consider hitting that subscribe button because I think you'll love this channel and I really want you on this journey with all of us because we're super cool and we're great fun. That's it, until the next one, keep it spooky.